morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me for week 7 of the Algor-WIN program. Um, Thank you for your commitment. Each week we have delved into the process of everything in real estate. And this week we are going to delve into the art of your new listing. But it's more than that. This week is really important because a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about this week, we covered it all last week, because last week we delved into the art of the seller presentation, where we made a lot of promises to our seller. Well, this week we have to come through with the promises. So we're going to cover the checklist for our new listings, but it's a little bit deeper than that. So before I get started, I want to congratulate everybody that made it to this point. You have gone through the halfway point of the entire program. So that's a huge accomplishment, because if you look at the success rate of programs that take more than 30 days, especially one that is an online where you're not actually having to show up at a class, the success rate is 15%. So you guys, by sticking with the program, show an amazing commitment to your business, but more importantly, you're exercising muscles. You are executors at heart. I always say knowledge is not power, execution is power. So many people go to class after class after class and never really execute on anything. Not only are you guys showing up, you've been here for more than half the classes. Now it's all about the execution, really putting each of these checklists into play into your business. Thank you to those of you. Many of you have sent me some really nice emails about huge wins that you've had in your business over the last 6 weeks by really systematizing the process of building a successful real estate business. Super excited for you. This entire system changes everything, because you are no longer just a real estate agent. You are the CEO of a successful real estate business. So it gives you the opportunity to look at your business in a whole new light. You're not just one person who's going out showing real estate. You're running an empire. So with that, let's dive into today's program, because we have a lot of stuff and I want to leave it open for some questions at the end. Hopefully we'll have some time. If you have missed any of the last 6 classes, you can go back to layerrealty.com/12-week Algor-WIN. There we have all 6 programs. Underneath each program, or underneath each video at layerrealty.com/12-week Algor-WIN, you will see a little synopsis of what's covered in that 1-hour class, but also you'll see the slides. So I see a lot of you guys taking pictures and stuff because you don't want to forget something. Don't worry, you have all the slides. I share them after the program, so you can go refer back as you're working on your checklists. So this week we're going to cover the seller checklist. We're going to also go beyond checking boxes. This week is so important because it's about client satisfaction. In other words, last week we really focused on the seller appointment. This week we're going to focus on, well, what happens when I get the listing? By the way, I'm not sure if Annie's on the call. Annie pointed out that the PDF download, the links weren't working. So I re-uploaded at layerrealty.com/Algor-WIN if you want the PDF with the links that work. There's all kinds of embedded links into the program. You can go to layerrealty.com/Algor-WIN. I re-uploaded it, so hopefully the embedded links are working in the PDF. Okay, today we're going to cover the checklist for you have a new listing. So we've already done the seller presentation, they've signed all the paperwork, and now we actually have a listing. Most important thing I want you guys to keep in mind is every listing you get is an audition for your next client. So everything should be on point, from your open houses, your marketing, everything. Thought should go into each piece of these items on the checklist. So as all the other checklists, there are 9 items: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items on the checklist. We're going to cover these 9 items, but before I cover the 9 items, I want to talk about client satisfaction, because the reason why this checklist is a little bit different than the other checklists we went through, such as like doing a buyer appointment or completing a seller appointment. The reason this checklist is a little bit different is because this is where we follow through on promises made. This is where we have the listing. Last week, we went through making promises of all the things we're going to do when we get the listing. Well, now we have to follow through on those promises. So that's why I say happy clients aren't born that way. We make happy clients. So there is a formula for creating satisfied clients. In fact, I would argue we want more than just satisfied clients. We want raving fans. So let's talk about how we can create massive client satisfaction, knowing that happy customers don't just randomly show up in our business. It's our job to make the client happy. So how we do that is by understanding 2 pieces of what we're delivering. Number 1, there is an expected performance. So there are certain things that the client is going to come to expect from us. That is the expected performance of a real estate agent. Well, the good news is we spent time with the last checklist, the seller appointment checklist, creating expectations. In fact, one of the big pieces that we created last week was the marketing plan. In fact, we said many real estate agents forget to actually give the seller a marketing plan. They give them a CMA, they give them a bundle about what it means to be a real estate seller, but the agent forgets to actually give a plan as to how they're going to market the property. So the cool thing is we are already setting expectations, which is really important, because if you don't set expectations for your customers, then they will create their own expectations. So as we say with every Algor-WIN class, clarity is kindness. Our job is to take all this crumpled up information that is confusing, uncertain, and unknown to our clients and make it as clear as possible. And that is what we did with that marketing plan that we gave to the seller last week. We created an expectation. Next, we have the actual delivery. So this is where engineering client satisfaction comes in. Now, I want to point out many real estate agents don't do this. I just said many real estate agents don't actually even give a physical marketing plan to the seller. So they're not engineering anything. They're kind of letting the client create their own expectations, and then they're leaving the satisfaction of the client to win. Like, hopefully they'll end up happy in the end, because I didn't set any expectation. So maybe they'll be happy, maybe they won't. We're going to set expectations. That's why we have a listing presentation. That's why we have a marketing plan where we write out everything that we're going to do. And then we're going to actually deliver. So a satisfied or a content client happens when actual delivery equals the expected delivery. So that's why we want to engineer everything. So first of all, we want to be super clear when we're delivering our listing presentation and our marketing plan and our CMA, that we want to engineer what we're going to be delivering. So actual delivery, and then expected delivery equal. When those two equal, you're going to have somebody that's pretty content. Here, you told the seller, this is what I'm going to do, and then you actually deliver on what you say you're going to deliver. By the way, you should put into your calendar 4 times a year that you go through and read your materials, your marketing, like your branding pieces, your buyer guides and your seller guides, and make sure that you do actually deliver on what you say you're going to deliver, so that there isn't a discrepancy, so that you don't have somebody that ends up aggravated or unsatisfied. So what creates an unsatisfied client? That's when the actual delivery, whatever you're delivering, is less than the expected delivery. So that means that you made a promise and you didn't deliver on the promise. Or it could also mean that you didn't make any promise. So the client created what they think a real estate agent should deliver, and you didn't deliver on what that client created in their own head. So that goes back to how important it is to actually create the expectation. Third, let's talk about creating happy/super elated. We want customers that are like raving fans, super elated. And that is how we can engineer any of these. So we're going to engineer the elated client, where actual delivery is greater than the expected delivery. So what we're going to look at is we're going to create expectations, and then we're going to deliver way more than what we said we were going to do. So that's how we create elated clients. So super important. Think about how you're engineering client satisfaction in your business. So first, at a minimum, it is really important that you set realistic expectations from the start. Because by the way, when we look at unsatisfied clients where actual delivery is less than expected delivery, I can see why this happens with some real estate agents. We want the client so bad that we promise and we promise and we promise all these things that we might not actually be able to deliver on, which is really bad for your business. We want to always be delivering either what we say we're going to deliver, so we have a content client, or we want to deliver more than what we say we're going to deliver, which is the elated client. So always at a minimum, the minimum bar is we have to be super realistic with our sellers. So we have to be transparent about market conditions, pricing, timelines. We have to educate clients on potential hurdles. This is why that seller presentation, the listing presentation, is so important. All this goes for buyers as well. This week, we're really focusing on listings because this is where we follow through on promises, but all of this applies to both buyers and sellers. And most importantly, avoid over-promising. Be honest about what you can control and what you cannot control. Under-promise, over-deliver. You guys are very familiar with this. Provide a realistic, but always be conservative estimate of timelines and outcomes. Always remain conservative. By remaining conservative, you can surprise and delight clients. Maybe you end up with a faster sale, a higher price, better results than originally predicted. But always keep some bonuses up your sleeve, because we're creating elated clients. We don't want just somebody that's content with what we've delivered because we followed through on our promise. We want to have some things up our sleeve so that we can surprise and delight our people at each step of the transaction. So in real estate, your reputation and client relationships are everything. By under-promising, over-delivering, you create trust, you exceed expectations, you build long-term loyalty, you end up with these elated clients. Now, we'll talk about this towards the end of today's program as well. One of the ways to surprise and delight clients is to communicate proactively. So it's really important when it comes to delivering on expectations in any business, communication is key. So part of your program is going to be, and we'll talk about this at the very end of today's class, is setting up a communication schedule so that you are always communicating. What happens if you don't communicate regularly with the client? Every time you communicate, you're recreating expectations for the client. If you're not communicating, they start creating the expectations themselves in their own head. We don't want the clients creating their own expectations because then we don't know what we're trying to live up to. We want to be the ones that are always in charge of creating the expectations for our business. So that's why by having a communication schedule, I think weekly is a good idea. And I'm going to give you a communication schedule at the end of the program. But weekly is perfect. It's staying in touch and constant communication. Also, what kind of channels do you use for communicating? Really, it's whatever the consumer prefers, but also in our business, always in writing. So I think definitely always an email follow-up. Maybe if somebody that prefers talking by phone or text, I say also always send a follow-up professional email that is templated, and we'll show you what that communication plan looks like. And then last, always address concerns before they become problems. So engineering client satisfaction, personalize the entire experience. So understand each client's unique needs and then tailor solutions accordingly. And then what I want you to do is really look at your listing presentation, really look at the marketing plan. So whatever your listing presentation and your marketing plan are, those are the minimum standards. Those are the expectations you have created. Then we're going to build in thoughtful gestures, which we don't tell anybody about. So, so that it surprises and delights the client at different stages of the transaction. So you want to have some thoughtful gestures right at the beginning of the transaction. So maybe it's like a pre-listing home prep kit. So, or a handwritten note of encouragement could be the thoughtful gesture. Or maybe the thoughtful gesture is when you actually show up to sign all the listing paperwork, you have a listing contract for the kids if they have children. So for example, we put one at Lair Agent Services. If you want a kids listing agreement where you have some cool giveaways, if the seller has some kids in the house, let's get them involved. That's not something we talk about in the listing presentation. Like, this is when we show up to sign everything. It's a thoughtful gesture because now you're including the kids into the transaction. Maybe it's showing up prior to a showing with some dog treats because the dog's going to be put in the crate for a little while. So you have some dog treats or something like that. Those are thoughtful gestures that you can embed throughout the entire transaction. So by the way, if you want the kids listing agreement in Canva format, you can go to lairagentservices.com, go to marketing, branding, and presentations, and then under guides, presentations, and brochures, you'll find a whole bunch of Canva templates. How about during the active listing? Maybe you create a little showing survival kit. Or if you're asking the client to leave the house for a little while, maybe you leave them some coffee gift cards so they can go to the local coffee shop to kill time. Maybe if their home receives a lot of interest, you surprise them with a bottle of champagne or a fun update like your home got 10 showings today, let's celebrate. Also, thoughtful gestures for a pending transaction, an under contract celebration treat, maybe even a cake that says congratulations, a smooth move checklist, customized moving box labels. Many years ago, before I was in real estate, I was a mortgage originator for many years, and I had somebody that worked for me basically 10 hours a week, and all that person did, I felt like when you get a mortgage commitment letter, I'm like, that should be huge. Like most mortgage people kind of treat it like, hey, you're approved, good job. But that's huge. Like the mortgage approval letter to me was like, wow, this is your ticket to your new house. So I had hired somebody, a girl that worked for me 12 hours a week, and she'd go to Costco and pick up like the big containers of fresh baked cookies, and we had these balloons on it. So she'd create like this big balloon bouquet and a big thing of cookies, and I would have her hand deliver the commitment letter to the client at their work. So that would happen, say, 5 times a week with 5 approvals. She's heading to their work with this big bouquet and cookies because we wanted it to be a big deal. By the way, I got so much business from that, but it was something I didn't tell the clients that when you get approved, we're going to do this big announcement for you. But people loved it. It was a way to surprise and delight the client. You can also do thoughtful gestures at closing, like a personalized closing gift, a closing day survival kit, maybe snacks, water, pens, tissues for signing day, or a video recap of the entire journey that your clients have been through. Uh, Also, you want to think about thoughtful gestures after closing. So everybody, well, not everybody, but many real estate agents do closing gifts. What about doing thoughtful gestures a month or two after the closing? Or a gift on the anniversary check-in. So things to think about that I say take a look at your listing presentation. Take a look at the seller questionnaire that you asked the client to fill out as part of last week's checklist, the seller appointment. On that seller questionnaire, they filled out information about children, pets, their favorite local places to go. They also filled out on that checklist what would make their life easier during a transition. So think about all of these things. Number one, the minimum that you promised in your listing presentation and your marketing plan. Then go through your seller questionnaire and find out some specifics about this client. And then in each stage of your relationship with this person, fill it in with thoughtful gestures. Small, thoughtful gestures help build a strong relationship, and they create raving fans who end up referring friends and family into the future. You make this transaction super memorable for them in a good way. By the way, without these thoughtful gestures, what do they remember? Oftentimes they remember stress and waiting and uncertainty and not knowing. So by building in these thoughtful gestures at each stage of your relationship with the seller, and by the way, you should do it with your buyers as well. By building in these thoughtful gestures, those are the things that they remember years from now when they think back on the transaction and what it was like. And when they're at the hairdresser and there's somebody at the hairdresser talking about the facts that they're thinking about listing their home, they'll be like, hey, you got to use my real estate agent. Listen to all these cool things my agent did. They showed up with a listing contract for the kids to sign, where the kids got a cool gift if they kept their room clean and put away their toys and stuff like that. Those are the things that your clients will remember. So another way to engineer client satisfaction is always be a problem solver. So anytime you show up, you don't want to be the person that always calls with a problem when talking to sellers. You want to be the person that's always calling with a solution. So in other words, if there's a problem, when you're calling, you're presenting it as, and by the way, we don't say problem. We learned that last week. We say challenge. But we're really focusing on an opportunity to solve something. we're presenting a solution before we even make that phone call. And then, of course, I always think it's a good idea. I know you can't just refer one lender, you can't refer just one title company, but you should start honing like a team of people so you can give to your clients like a list of people where you say, hey, here's here's 3 or 4 loan officers, here's 3 or 4 title or closing companies. I know that you will have a great experience, and that is my job, is to ensure client satisfaction. When you don't control the vendors that the client is choosing, you end up potentially being in a place of no client satisfaction or an upset client for a reason that you can't control. So really important to start building your trusted vendor list. And always, most importantly, stay calm under pressure. Nobody wants to see you sweat. Nobody wants to see you worry or stressed out about anything. You are the rock of the transaction. You're the one there to solve problems. You're the one there to make everything smooth and easy for them. Okay, we don't have to spend lots of time on the 9 items for the new listing action checklist because we went over a lot of these things last week as part of the seller appointment. We talked about why you should have professional photography, for example. So we're going to go through many of these really quick. Number 1, on your new listing action checklist, professional photography, in my opinion, is a must because you are auditioning for your next listing. So yes, you want to do a great job and you want to engineer client satisfaction on this listing, but also you are auditioning for your next listing. So that is why I feel even if it's a $50,000 mobile home, it gets the same high level of professionalism and photography, and it is treated the same as a $1 million listing because you are always auditioning for your next transaction. So we already said this all last week. Top 3 reasons that sellers hire real estate agents: pricing and market expertise, marketing and exposure, and then process and protection. So one of the things they're hiring us for is the marketing, and professional photography is the first impression for most buyers who are going to be looking at real estate. Most, like 99.99% of buyers are not going to just simply show up and look at the house without having first evaluated the property online. So we want to get as many people into the property who might have an actual interest in buying it. And so we need to make sure the first impressions are key, those professional photos. Homes with professional real estate photos sell for more as well. More clicks equals more offers. So National Association of Realtors has a stat that says homes that have professional photography sell for $3,000 to $11,000 more. And here, this little video explains why it's so important to make sure your photos are awesome, because this is how people look at real estate. They're scrolling, 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 and you only have a second to capture them. So dark, blurry, unappealing pictures, just not going to cut it. And remember, the photos are your reputation. So don't put lousy photos out there, iPhone photos. I said this last week. If you absolutely cannot do professional photography, then use Exposio. Exposio is an app that that will re-expose if you have an iPhone photo. They try to make it look like professional photography. I tried this on a property that I owned just to see what the difference was, and still professional photography was nicer. So Exposio is much nicer than just an iPhone photo for sure. They charge about $1 per photo to re-expose the photo. You only pay for the ones that you're going to download and use. Number 2, your property description. Super important. Why? Well, just like a photo, it is the first impression. It is you auditioning for your next transaction. So when writing a really good property description, you should focus on engaging, clear, and compelling message while highlighting the best features of the property. So have a strong opening statement for your description, like step into this sun-drenched storybook colonial in the heart of Robin Hood neighborhood where charm meets modern convenience. So your first sentence should be like the piece that will get the consumer to keep reading. Next, highlight the most desirable features. So focus on what makes the home unique. So a chef's kitchen, sunset views, a spa-like master bath, and prioritize high impact features like the kitchen and open floor plan, outdoor space, and location perks. Use vivid sensory language. You want people to feel like, you want them to feel, first of all, when they read your description, you want to make the person, the human, feel something. So instead of saying large backyard, say a sprawling backyard oasis, perfect for summer barbecues and cozy fire pit nights. That makes somebody feel a certain way. Instead of saying it's an updated kitchen, how about a sleek, remodeled kitchen featuring quartz countertops, stainless steel appliances, and a spacious island ideal for entertaining? That makes you feel a certain way. Keep it concise. So use short paragraphs and bullet points for easy readability, and try to avoid repeating basic facts that are in the actual listing. So for example, you don't have to repeat that it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, because the consumer's going to figure that out. They probably narrowed their search in whatever search platform they're using so that they know it has 3 bedrooms, because it wouldn't have shown up in a search for them. But when they go down to the details, they could see all that. Also, your description, it's a good idea to talk about lifestyle perks of the location. So nearby attractions, schools, parks, for example, trendy cafes, scenic parks, and close proximity to commuter rails for handy access to the entire state. Avoid cliches that make you sound salesy. Won't last long. Salesy. You can say a rare find in a neighborhood, a rare find in Robin Hood neighborhood. Homes here don't come on the market often. Avoid nice home in a great neighborhood. Everybody says that. Better is tucked away in the peaceful tree-lined streets of Robin Hood neighborhood. This home offers a quiet retreat with quick access to downtown. Double check your spelling and grammar. Use relevant keywords that people might search for. So like open floor plan, move-in ready, high ceilings, hardwood floors, etc. I feel like I have to throw this in. You guys have all been in the business for a really long time, so hopefully this all comes secondhand, but I think it's important to at least mention, even if you're using a system like ChatGPT, I have caught multiple times including words that I feel would violate fair housing in a listing description. So even if you're using AI to help you write your vivid description of a property, it is really important that you double check everything to make sure that you're not violating fair housing. So fair housing prohibits discrimination based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, disability, family status. So Just avoid any words that imply a preference or exclusion of any type. So avoid perfect for families or great for young professionals. Instead, you could say it's a spacious open floor plan with a large backyard. Let's see. Avoid safe neighborhood, diverse community located in whatever area. Instead, focus on conveniently located near local shops, restaurants, entertainment. Avoid religion. We can't talk about walking distance to churches or anything. That one has that one little sentence has multiple issues in it. Instead, just be neutral. Close to various places of worship is fine. Um, Disability, accessibility. Avoid walk, the word walk, or ideal for active individuals. Instead, you could say it's a single level home with wide doorways and step-free entry. Avoid perfect bachelor pad. Avoid words that could suggest discrimination. So the word exclusive should not be used. Instead, say a gated community with private amenities. Don't say safe neighborhood, say low crime area per local stats, if that is true. Instead of saying a senior community, say 55 plus active adult community, if it is legally designated that. And instead of a traditional neighborhood, say classic architecture with tree-lined streets is totally fine. So, in other words, don't focus on people, focus on property features. Stick to factual descriptions, emphasize the amenities, and highlight location neutrally. So, it's close to shopping, dining, and public transport. By the way, we have a listing description generator. You guys can go on to ChatGPT, but some agents don't like ChatGPT because it's a little bit clunky. If you go to Lair Agent Services, you can use our listing description generator. It gets emailed to you. We don't see it. It just automatically goes to you. You go to Lair Agent Services, go down to Marketing, Branding, and Presentations, and go to Listing Description Generator. Any agent from any company can use it. It'll ask you a bunch of questions, and it will write your description for you. Again, this is powered by ChatGPT, so you still have to double check it to make sure there's no fair housing violations. Number 3 of your checklist, we're going to send just listed, just sold mailings. So we got a new listing. We're going to send just listed, just sold mailers. So as soon as we get the new listing and as soon as we sell the new listing, we're going to send postcards. I mentioned last week MLSmailings.com. I happen to love because it hooks right into your MLS. So you can just set it up to set it and forget it, where you upload your photo, your logo. It hooks into your MLS. So every time you list a property, it'll automatically send your just listed postcards to the surrounding neighbors based on the amount you tell it to send. And every time you sell a property, it will do the same thing. And it's around $100 per 100, so about $1 roughly per postcard with postage for the smaller postcard, and $1.26 for the jumbo postcard roughly with postage. Always include your fellow QR code for a free home value report. So if you're a Lair agent and you're using Fellow, you should always, in every marketing piece you create, include a QR code that takes people so that you're always in the process of capturing leads. So even in your just listed, just sold mailers. Why should we have mailers? It's a high open rate. So it's 100% visibility as opposed to email, which has visibility of under 30%. Secondly, it helps you as much as it helps the seller. So we promise it as part of our marketing plan because we're marketing the property. We want people to see the house for sale, but also it's simultaneously helping us because we're auditioning to all 200 neighbors to say, hey, this is the kind of stuff I do when I list a new property. And most importantly, we're going to do it because we said we were going to do it. We put it in our marketing plan last week. Number 4, blast email announcement. So once you get the new listing, you're going to send out a blast email announcement. So first of all, why do we want to do it? I say put everybody who do you email? First of all, I think you should have a database, a list of emails of everybody who has worked with you in the past, so that anytime you get new listings, you can just send out a blast email saying another new listing. This gets you potential buyers and referral opportunities. It keeps you top of mind with all of your past customers. It builds social proof that you are a real estate agent and you're busy in the marketplace. It also encourages seller leads. So a homeowner who's thinking about selling may consider actually selling now instead of thinking about actually selling, because they're seeing a lot of other inventory come on the market at a decent price, and it boosts engagement and visibility. So even if they're not in the market, past clients are staying in the loop, which makes them more likely to refer you business down the road. Always when you send out those emails, if you're sending out an email to your past clients, always add, do you know anyone looking in the area? I'd love to help. And add a link that says, would you be interested in a free home equity review or a free home value report? And you're always going to take them back into your fellow CRM. So just like the postcards we said a minute ago, we'll always have a QR code. In your email, you can have a QR code or an actual link to your fellow landing page for a free home value report. All of our marketing should always include a link to our CRM system. And then what companies can you use for email blasts like that? Some of you have Exact still. Drip email, which is one that I use for my email campaigns. MailChimp, Active Campaign, and Brevo. Those are some of the main ones that agents use for just sending out emails occasionally, like a mass email to your database of clients. For those of you that have Fellow, you can't do a massive email like that. Fellow is a very specific product for creating home value reports, and that's the only email it sends out, is those 2 emails per month with the current home value report of the property. But you can, there's plenty of other programs out there for doing an email blast to your clients. Another one that I highly recommend is BombBomb. We have a few agents that have BombBomb. This is also an email service, but it incorporates video. So every time you send out an email to your entire database, it's you on video talking about your new listing. So instead of just a plain old email of a listing sheet, it's a video of you, and in the background, you can have your actual listing sheet. So you could just do a video, or you can also have the listing sheet that they can click on. I love BombBomb for real estate agents because it makes the experience even more personal than just sending typewritten emails. Also, if you're a layer agent and you're sending out a mass email message about your new listing, just use the pieces that our team creates for you. When you get a new listing, our team creates a brochure for you of your new listing. So just open up the email from our marketing team, and you can open it in Canva. So there's a link that says brochure Canva template. Open that brochure Canva template, and then it'll open into your property brochure, and then just save it as a JPEG and upload it into your email, and it's ready to go. By the way, you can also do email broker blasts if you want to notify all the real estate agents in your marketplace. That's important because we might have put that into our marketing plan. So if you put this in your marketing plan that you're going to notify all the agents in your marketplace, One of the ways you can do that is through zipyourflyer.com. Another way you can do that is right through your MLS, through like a reverse prospecting email. Number 5, create and post a listing video. So, by the way, what do you say in your listing video? If you're not used to doing listing videos, go to ChatGPT. So I took one of the listings that our agents got yesterday, 6 Plain Road in Westford. I saw that come on the market, and I went to ChatGPT and I said, can you write me a 3-minute video that I could use as I walk through the property? So just it wrote me everything I would have to say in a video shoot for the listing. So that's number 1, is if you're not sure what to say. By the way, all I did was I took a link to the listing from Zillow and I put that into ChatGPT and I said, write me a 3-minute video message that I could record a video and tell potential buyers about this property, and here's a link to the property. And ChatGPT read through the listing on Zillow and created my video script for me. Oh, this is so cool. You have to, some of the agents say, well, how do I walk around the house? Well, number 1, some agents just use selfie sticks where you hold the selfie stick and you walk around the house talking about the property. Some agents do this with their photographer. So when the photographer's there doing professional photos, they'll say, can I add on to my professional photography? I want to do a walkthrough of the property on video, and the photographer will do it. One of the things many agents are doing is these real estate teeny tiny drones. So you can get these hover air teeny tiny drones for $400, and they're pretty cool. By the way, you can talk through everything, or you can add video to, music to it, etc. But basically, the little teeny hover air has a follow me capability. So basically, you press a button and you just tell it, follow me through the house. And so this woman is a real estate agent doing a drone video inside the real estate, inside the listing, and it basically is just following her. So super cool. And then you can talk about the property as you go through the house. By the way, for those of you who are participating in our CMA a Day challenge that starts this week on the first day of spring, I love these little drone hover airs so much. For those of you who are participating in our CMA a Day at layerrealty.com/CMA a Day, we have every day that agents upload their listing presentations as proof that they're doing one CMA a day. We are giving away gifts every single day for 30 days. And on some of those days, the gift is one of those hover air drones, so you can try it out for yourself. Number 6, social media. Gotta post all of the information about your listings on social media. It shows that you are actively participating in real estate, exposes the property. It gets it maximum exposure online, attract future seller leads, engage your network, and encourages shares. You can create FOMO, fear of missing out. So if people see that you're constantly showing a new listing and then a few days later it's under agreement, it might motivate some of your other buyers to get off the fence because stuff is moving. At the end of the day, posting your social media throughout the transaction, all the milestones of your listing, it provides easy and consistent content. So by providing easy and consistent content, it also drives more referrals. At Layer, we do all the heavy lifting. We automatically create, as part of the marketing bundle that you receive from our marketing team when you get a new listing, one of the links in there is a link to all of your social media pieces for the milestones of the listing. So new listing, under agreement, sold, price improvement. We give you all of the marketing pieces. So all you have to do is download them. Number 7, your open house checklist. If you'll remember last week, we talked about, as part of our marketing plan, articulating our open house strategy was part of the marketing plan we did last week. We showed the seller, hey, I don't do just a plain old open house. I do like a real open house. And we gave them all the steps we take for a wonderful open house. And now we have to follow through on that. So right in your Algor-WIN book, I think the page is 80 of the Algor-WIN book, we outline a whole system for you to do from like 2 weeks before the open house starts, 1 week before the open house starts. So we give you an entire checklist, what to put together in your open house display, things to include at your open house. We also talk about the fact that it's a good idea to have at your open house stuff for the kids, like a little kiddie table, so that the kids who come in with their parents have something to do while their parents are occupied looking at the property. Also, when you are doing your open house, be mindful about your open house sign-in sheet. So rather than just a plain old open house sign-in sheet, you could do an open house feedback sheet. So we have this at Layer Agent Services as well. So anybody can go over and download this Canva template. The cool thing about the open house feedback sheet is each client or each prospect that comes through the open house, when they fill this out, in a changing market, it's going to be helpful to get these feedback sheets because it's going to be able to help you with potential price reductions. And then it continues to go on, like being mindful about your open house signs, things to do on the day of your open house, during the open house, after the open house. Number 8, your paid social marketing campaign. So part of what we promised in our marketing plan was we would do some paid advertising on social media. If you're a Layer agent, we do this for you. So you don't have to do anything. We automatically pay for 7 days of advertising on Facebook and Instagram. And so this is what your ads look like. This is the ad on Facebook. This is the one on Instagram. But if you're a Layer agent, you have a username and password to your Boost account. You can go in and add additional advertising if you want to past the 7 days. But really important to note that leads come through on these. So anytime a lead comes through on your Boost, on the paid advertising we're doing, put them into your fellow. I think, by the way, you should, number 1, reach out to everybody, every lead that comes through your Boost ad with just a quick text or call saying, I saw that you checked out my property at 10 Main Street on Facebook. Let me know if you'd like more details or to schedule a private tour. I'm happy to help with any questions. You can get more information on the person, typically through Facebook. If they come in as an engaged lead, typically you'll have their email address. You can go look them up at fastpeoplesearch.com. It's all free, so you can find out who that person is to reach out to them. And also you can always put those emails into Fellow because that person might have a property that they might want to think about selling. Number 9, this is last and most important, is we talked about communication plans. You should have a great communication plan because if you're not regularly communicating with your sellers once the property is listed, they start creating their own expectations of what should be happening. We don't want any of the process for our clients, sellers or buyers, to be creating their own expectations. So we're going to consistently communicate with the client. So You should have a weekly home seller report template that you create on your own. And all it is an email that covers like 4 or 5 different things. So it's going to say in the subject line, weekly market update and activity report for 10 Main Street. And it'll say, hi, John, here's your weekly update on activity and market conditions for your home at 10 Main Street. Number one, online listing performance. You're going to give them how many people are looking at the property online. So, and then also on social media and on ad performance. So you pick and choose which of these you want to incorporate for tracking views. But some of the easy ones that almost all of you have access to is number one, showing time. Showing Time does a listing activity report for all of your listings. Every layer agent is using Showing Time, I believe. And then most brokerages are using Showing Time. So if you log into your Showing Time account, you can pull listing activity report, and it gives you like this pretty report that you can give to your seller each week. As well, Zillow. Not sure if you guys know, but if you go to your listing on Zillow, in the very upper right-hand corner, there's 3 little dots in the upper right-hand corner. This is even if you're not paying for Zillow, so you don't have to pay anything for this. Go to the listing in the upper right-hand corner. There's 3 little dots. Click on View Owner Dashboard. It's then going to make you log into Zillow. So you have to have your own Zillow account, which you can set up for free if you don't already have one as a real estate agent. You view the owner dashboard, and it does the same thing. It gives you listing traffic for the listing. So this particular listing went live this week in Drake-It. And it had 1,700 views and 99 saves. So 99 people were interested enough to save it to review further. And all this is free and should be in your listing, your seller report each week. Same, homes.com. If you just go visit your listing on homes.com, it tells you the number of views. So each week, just give your seller an update on the number of views on the listing. As well, if you're a layer agent, we are paying for 7 days of boosted advertising on Facebook and Instagram. And if you log into your Boost account, it will tell you how many people clicked on the ad, how many people saw the ad, and how many engaged in the ad. 6 engaged means 6 people asked for more information on the listing, which the system provides the more information. But the 6 means that there's probably 6 leads in your account that you can go add to your fellow. By the way, in Boost as well, this does not happen automatically. You have to create this. There's a little button that says add seller info. And if you put in your seller's name and email address, it will send them results of the listing. So it will send them a little report so they know that you're running the ad and how many clicks and how many views and stuff like that. Number 2, in your seller report, you want to talk about any scheduled showings. You want to give an open house recap, any buyer, agent or buyer feedback, and you want to give them and the number of calls, like the call volume or inquiries on the property. Also, you want to give them just a local market update. So just let them know how many other houses have gone under agreement, recent sales in the neighborhood, current market conditions. Is inventory going up or going down? And what's happening with mortgage rates? Are they rising or falling? And then last, you want to include next steps and recommendations. Based on this week's activity, we recommend maybe adjusting price, refreshing marketing efforts, scheduling another open house, staying the course, whatever you think. And then you can explain what we're doing this week. We're running a new targeted social media ad campaign. We're following up with the buyers who showed interest. We're updating listing photos with seasonal curb appeal changes. And and then have a final call to action. So we're making great progress, and I'll keep you updated. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. All of that you can turn into a Google email template. So if you're using Google for sending emails, you just create a template so you don't have to retype that every single time you have to give a seller an update. It's all typed for you. You're just filling in the details of it. So make sure you're using the email templates. If you don't know how to do that, then just Google it. Google how to create an email template within your Google. And then we also have at Lair Agent Services, if you like something a little more pretty, we do have a Canva weekly update image that you can customize. I like the email better because it gives you a lot more room to like make notes and add other stuff. But some agents like something that's just a little more pretty to send over. So we do have an option there for a weekly update. You can find it at Lair Agent Services under Marketing, Branding, and Presentations, and then Guides, Presentations, and Brochures. So if you have questions, I'm going to go through chat and see if we have anything. But if you want to ask, yes, somebody said, are there really agents who don't use a professional photographer? Sadly, yes, I definitely see it still. I agree with you, Janice. Like, that's like a minimum standard, in my opinion, that you got to be using professional photos. Like I said, even if it's a tiny listing, it doesn't matter. Like, you're auditioning for your next transaction, and so you got to be using professional photography. Yes, Mila.
I actually do have a couple things to say. First of all, when you were talking about 55 plus community, that's a funny part. A few years ago, I heard that now it's called 55 and greater community.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it.
So regarding kids listing agreement, is this something we have in our marketing?
Today we added it. Yes.
Awesome. And if you say, can tell a couple more things, I've never heard about CMA competition you have now. Can you repeat it again?
What was it?
CMA competition?
Oh, we launched this. I'm going to make sure you're getting our emails. I sent out an email last week, but basically we're launching on March 20, I think it's the 20th. It's whatever the first day of spring is. March 20th, we're launching a CMA a day competition. And basically what that is that we're encouraging real estate agents, instead of waiting for a CMA appointment, that once a day you pick somebody that you're going to just go do a CMA for. It could be a next door neighbor. It could be a for sale by owner. A great place to look is in Fellow, because Fellow's telling you people who are clicking on home value reports. So once a day, you create a CMA for somebody and you reach out to them and deliver a CMA to get the listing appointment. So I will send you after this call, if you go to our YouTube, I announced it at our last sales meeting last week, which is on youtube.com/Lair training. I'll send you guys a link to that. Sergio, can you put a link to the sales meeting from last week in the chat here as well? I'll send it out and I'll put it on the inside the Facebook group, and I'll send it to you, Mila. But each day you can upload a CMA at YouTube. I'm sorry, at lairrealty.com/CMA a day. And you upload your CMA, and each day we are doing a drawing of all kinds of gifts. So like someday we're giving out a drone, actual drones. We have gift bags, we have professional photography, and we're doing at the end, we're doing a final drawing of $2,500 for anybody that uploaded 30 CMAs. I keep telling everybody, we're not doing anything with your CMAs, so you don't have to worry about whether we're like scrubbing it for info. We're just doing it. We're asking you to upload them so we have proof that you did a CMA, And then you'll be entered into the contest each day. All right, awesome. And Utpal, what do you have?
Hi, I'm just, it's very good. I'm going through all this, what you are teaching, all checklist. An yearly checklist, there is like, we have to update our the business profile on Google. And I switch like brokers, so from previous brokers, I try to modify it and put my new address, and it suspended my account. So I don't know whether anybody has the same situation or not, like when switching the brokerage. And it says it's deceptive practice because earlier I'm only doing business in Florida, but now I'm in Florida and Massachusetts. So I added both places and I have the record office here. So I switched my address from Gainesville to here, and it's a deceptive practice and I appeal, but I didn't hear anything back from Google. So I have no idea whether anybody else had this situation.
Look into that for you. Sergio and I will take a look at both of them. What's really interesting, we're working on another class on how to create your Google profile. And it's interesting that you say that because there's a question that's asked in the process of creating your Google profile. There's a question that's asked, and I don't remember what it is, but if you're not careful, you set it up in a way in which the brokerage has more control over your profile, which you don't want. So I have a feeling that the other brokerage had some control over your profile, which caused that issue. You want it so that wherever you work, where your profile is good. I've never had somebody that had it in two different markets. So that's going to be interesting. So I'm going to put it a note and let Sergio and I take a look and figure
Thank you.
out if we can help
Thank you very much.
All right, and that's it. And I feel for you, Upal. I have been off of Facebook for 3 weeks because I got hacked on Facebook, and trying to get my account back has been horrible. I've had to like send in my passports and my driver's license, and here we are 3 weeks later. I still don't have access.
Yeah,
So
that's because there's no response. We can't connect with people there.
that's the problem. Like, you cannot get a human being. And I keep sending these long messages because I say, I could start a new Facebook, but I have pictures. My dad passed away, and I have pictures on that Facebook of like loved
Yeah.
ones that I don't want to lose. So I'm not giving up yet, but it's not easy.
Yeah, in the Facebook, if you have like multiple people who are friends, they can report that this is a hack, then that helps. That's what I have done before in the
Got it.
Facebook situation.
Yep.
So I had to report, I told my friends, and they also signed that this is the real person, this is not the real person.
Yes.
And they blocked that one.
Got it.
Okay.
All right, awesome stuff. Thank you, everybody, for now more than halfway through the program, and very excited. Next week, we're covering our last checklist, but we still have 5 more classes. Is that right? Yeah, 5 more classes. Next week, we're covering our last checklist, but then we have 4 weeks of some other really great stuff I can't wait to share with you. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks.
I just wanted to tell you, I went through the same thing you're going through with Facebook.
Yep.
It's been 2 years. I still don't have mine back. I have pictures of my dad who died and my dog, and I still don't have it back.
Yes.
So good luck. If you get yours back, let me know how you do it.
100%. I've like collected so many emails and stuff because whoever it set up a 2-factor authentication. So it puts you in this circle like, oh, here's your account back, but then it asks for two-factor authentication, which I didn't set up.
Yeah, right.
So anyways,
awful.
I'm not giving up.
All right. Keep me posted.
All right. Thanks, everyone.